Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, I'm just going to be watching through some of my favorite highlights, clips, and clutch rounds from Trials of Osiris back in Burnout, sorry, Old Habits Die Hard. And kind of break them down a little bit, talk about what we did, why we did what we did, and hopefully this will, I don't know, educate you a little bit into how to manage chaos in and keeping your cool in these situations so that you can find success in Trials as well. So we get started here with the very first clip. I'm going to pause every now and then. So right here what happens, okay, let me pause for a second. I knew that there was a guy on the east bridge, and so I was scoped in with my sniper rifle, but I only have one bullet left. Now, as soon as I take that shot and I get that kill, I sidestep into cover and I immediately switch to the pulse rifle because when you empty your special weapon, you can always switch to a primary now that they have infinite ammo, and you can have, you don't have just one magazine to work with like you used to. So as soon as I get that kill, I know this, step into cover, switch to the pulse. That way I can actually duel people down range and not just be stuck with the sidearm alone. And that's going to free me up to take engagements a little bit more methodically. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump straight up because I see this guy on the radar that's pushing. He's feeling a little spicy because he had Desperado up. And then I look right into the res. I get a guy tagged up. I throw the trip mine down on the pillar there to make sure that if somebody pushes me, hopefully they'll get tagged by it. I finish up the guy up top. And as I get this last guy with the Devil's Ruin tagged up, he sidesteps for cover, gives me enough time to get the res. I then have an overshield, and so does my teammate. And I also have somebody else for him to focus on. So he drops the solo squall while I take the other side of the door and finish him up. And that ties up the round. We really needed that to tie up the match. All right, now similar situation here. I actually didn't know in the moment. You see my teammate's getting revived in front of me. I didn't realize I had gotten special ammo off of my teammate at the time, and so I have two in reserves. I didn't know about that. But I only had one in the mag. I thought that was the only bullet I had. Same situation as last round. I take the snipe, I get the pick, I sidestep into cover and immediately swap to the pulse rifle so that I have some long-range utility. And then I'm back in it, baby. Now, I know that I got a pick over there and they're going to be focused on getting that res, so I decide to push up as fast as I can and get eyes on it. I get shots on both of them. They're both tagged up. I'm going to Kobe in that trip mine. And sure enough, it finishes one of them off. The other guy I see is on the steps. I use the head glitch to avoid getting tagged by the Devil's Ruin, and then I push up on him and clean him up. And now I'm going to pull a 180 and try and get eyes on the last guy. It's a 1v1, and I feel pretty confident in my 1v1 capabilities. So at this point, I'm just trying to force him to push the zone. I know that time is whittling down. I get a nice full burst on him with the pulse rifle. Use that as an opportunity to move up while he's getting cover. I put the trip mine on the wall to let me know when he pushes. He doesn't get tagged by it, but I hear him jumping, and I heard the trip mine go off. So I just look up and backpedal, put him down at the sidearm, easy peasy, and that's how you clutch up a round. So this one is, I'm going to pause for a second. This round, well, give me a second. Yeah, so here, this is a good spot to pause. So this round was won not by doing anything crazy or flashy. It is just about making the right decision in the right moment. So my teammate is dueling somebody over at the east entrance. I can see that very clearly, that they're exchanging shots on the left side of the pillar. Now, I don't commit to the left side of the pillar with him, because if I do that, a cloud strike, a salvager salvo, there's a lot of things out there where if he dies, I could die too, or take damage to something like Firefly if it's an ace of spades that he's dueling. I don't know. I don't have enough information. So instead of standing shoulder to shoulder with him and stepping into the line of fire where somebody's already looking, I'm going to take a different angle, and that's going to give me the opportunity to team fire with him from safety. And sure enough, I clean the guy up. I get 3 solid bursts into him. Then I'm going to put the trip mine up on the top of the steps. I peek right here just to make sure that the other guy isn't pushing in before I go aping in on this guy. But I know that this guy had to run towards my teammate. I was hoping he'd get picked, but it looks like he made it to East Bridge just fine. Now I know he's probably still recovering his health, but I'm going to turn around. And as soon as I see 2 guys with overshields, I know that I do not want to take that fight. I could stay. I'm probably going to lose. I don't have a trip mine cooled down. So it'd be me with primary weapons dueling 2 guys with overshields. I mean, my chances of winning that are pretty slim. So as soon as I see the 2, I know that the 1 is split. Because I had 2 radar pings, right? And if this guy got a res, that means I know where the solo is. So that's where I immediately turn to go. And that was not a flashy round. It was just about making the right decision in the moment. Alright, 3 Revenants on this team, so I'm ready for lots of shatter dives. I get this guy tagged up. He's got a Vex. I put the trip mine on the wall just in case he tries to re-challenge. I look up at this guy. He was trying to get a Shatter Dive off, but I shoot up into his crotch before he got the Glacier Grenade off, but he didn't get the dive off. This guy tried to do the same thing. Luckily, I'm going to pause for a second. Luckily, what happened was he was too focused on my trip mine and trying to shoot it down so that he could step into mid and help team. Because a lot of people, they don't want to run all the way around to a different angle. They'd rather stay and try and take care of the trip mine first and then challenge from the same angle because that's more convenient. And sure enough, he was already focused on the trip mine, gave me an opportunity to slide into the engagement while he's not looking right at me, and I can get first shots on him. And he realizes he's not going to be able to catch up and damage, so he tries to get that Glacier Grenade off so he can Shatter Dive me. But again, I was just a little bit too speedy for him, and I slid to the opposite side of the door. Again, this is a triple Revenant team, so I knew I didn't want to slide right up into him. Even if I caught him off guard, he can throw that Glacier Grenade down and Shatter Dive it very quickly. So I go to the left side of the door away from him, but still within sidearm range, so that I don't have to run the risk of getting Shatter Dive. Last guy has already used his Glacier Grenade, so now I'm just gonna relentlessly push him. And there you go, put him down. All right, this team was going top throwing a lot, so I ended up coming outside on the right side and immediately looking up to the throne. Sure enough, caught a guy up there snoozing. He was scoped in, looking for a pick. Here I'm going for the revive, so I push up, get a pretty easy kill. Now this is the thing that made this is the thing right here that made me want to include this round. Nothing about those first two kills was flashy or overly exciting, but this was the thing worth showing. It's all about knowing what you have at your in your kit and how to use it and what it's good at. I saw this hunter crossing for heavy, and I knew he was going to get that heavy before I could do anything about it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put a trip mine on the wall back there to guarantee that easy, quick damage on him, and he is literally directly in the line of fire for that trip mine. Boom goes the dynamite, and it's all good and gravy, baby. I love these trip mines. All right, step into the lane here, get a nice little duel with the sidearm, or with the pulse. Now, here's the thing that I think is worth noting about this round. It's just, again, it's not about being flashy, it's just about being smart. There's a Bleak Watcher turret on my right. If I step into that gap to go try and push that body or regroup with my teammates, I'm going to get hit by it, slowed by it, and there's no cover out there. So if I step out and I get slowed by the Bleak Watcher, I'm going to be going at a snail's pace with no cover to work with. And I don't want that. I don't like that. So I'm actually going to pop my super. There's two guys left, and I have 3 bullets. I'm actually going to use one of them on the Bleak Watcher turret and just say, no thank you. I don't want to deal with that. And then I'm free to push up on the last 2 guys with the super. It's just about being smart, you know? Alright, this guy slides into the engagement. He gets teamed down. Now, here we go. Timeout. Don't forget that trip mine. I threw that trip mine on the wall back there. Don't forget about that trip mine. Okay? Let's keep going. Step into the duel with the last 2 guys. They both try to Shatter Dive. I kill one, and the second one kills me. And you might be thinking, oh no, that's not good. But don't forget about that trip mine. There he goes, baby. That's what we like to call Chekhov's trip mine. Right? That's Chekhov's trip mine. It's a cinematography term. If you know, you know. If you don't, look it up. It's actually Chekhov's gun, but obviously it's trip mine. But in this situation, that was Chekhov's trip mine. Don't forget about the trip mine. Now, here we go. Get a guy tagged up on the head glitch with the pulse rifle. I'm looking to see if he peeks, and he does end up peeking right side before he gets full health. Now, at this point, I'm gonna step forward. Let me pause for a second. I don't know if you caught that. So as soon as I secured that first kill, my radar, I descoped, and my radar is lit up like a Christmas tree at my 5 o'clock, like my 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock area, which tells me one of the last 2 guys is outside at the bottom of throne, pushing into the doorway. Now that's my flank. I can't return fire there immediately. That's my most exposed angle right now, because that's not where my teammates are, and they don't have a line on it. Now, instead of turning and fighting a guy I know nothing about, does he have a shotgun, a chaperone, a fusion rifle? I don't know. Is he going to Shatter Dive me? Does he have that Glacier Grenade cooled down and ready to go? I don't know. So instead of taking the fight I know nothing about, I take the one that's in front of me, that I can react to the most. And so what I do is I'll go ahead and I toss that trip mine on in that hallway to the right at east entrance, and that's going to let me have the opportunity to to deal damage to anybody that's there or anybody that decides to push out in front of me. But it's also a zoning tactic. Luckily, a guy was in that doorway. He's thinking about getting that revive, thinking about pushing out and getting some shots on me. He immediately gets tagged by it. And I don't waste any time. I get right around that corner. I go right around that corner and challenge him as soon as he gets tagged because I don't want to get shot in the back. And now I'm going to turn and I'm going to push on this Revenant. My teammate gets a little bit of damage into him, so I just jump over. It's all about audio cues. You know, sometimes you can hear the opponent's character model yell, you know, and that lets you know, hey, their shields are popped. Now, here we go. I get a guy tagged up. He goes to hide behind the pillar, and this is what I ended up liking to do. Let me pause it for a second. This is like one of my staple moves. Actually, the way I pause it, you can see the 2 damage numbers there. Finished one of them off and hit another one for 157 damage. So, sort of 2 birds with 1 stone. But I did this a ton on Burnout. Is you're going to start learning some angles and tricky things you can do with your kit. If you're analytic enough, you're going to learn what are some tricky things I can do with the builds that I'm running. And this was one of the things that I learned pretty quickly. How many times on Burnout do you get into a gunfight when you're in mid and somebody else is on the head glitch here at East Entrance? It's literally almost every game you're going to have that gunfight, that scenario shake down. And so I got into this habit of learning to put that trip mine on the wall to the left side or even the right side, depending on where they were standing and where the other teammates were. But I know the reach of the trip mines now because I've used them enough, and I knew this was going to tag this guy. So it's all about just repetition, learning your kit well. All right. Just a couple of plays left here for us to break down. I hear there's an Arbalest. He's already taken 1 shot, and that's important because now that you can't carry ammo over between rounds, I tag the Arbalest up again. My teammate asks, did he shoot it? And that's important because he wants to know if he can peek that angle without having the Arbalest shoot back. So I get a nice little pick there. I see the other one jumped over the grinder, and I know that one of these guys is using a ballistic slam with a Dune Marcher, so I'm going to give my teammates a little bit of space here. Sure enough, he comes in with that ballistic slam, and he gets the double kill. And then I'm going to put the trip mine on the wall, or on the pillar, right side, where I saw the hunter go last. I slide in, get the revive to get myself an overshield. I primary down the guy that's getting the revive, and then the Revenant decides to try to challenge me as I'm trying to kill his teammate, because he doesn't want us to get the res either, and he steps right into that trip mine. Again, check out trip mine. Alright, here we go. Next round. So I hear a shade step up on the top steps. There's 2 guys up there. I know I don't want to get team fired down. It's going to go really quickly if I do. My teammate up there goes down at the top of the steps. I'm going to use the trip mine to try and zone that off, but one of the hunters comes through. Now, luckily, I threw that trip mine up at the door to the bridge, and my teammate tagged him up with his sniper rifle and made him run down the bridge to avoid getting cleaned up, and he runs right into my trip mines. Perfect timing. And then as soon as I'm free to come back, I come straight back. I clean up the guy in the steps, get the revive on my teammate, throw the trip mine on the wall. My dog starts barking. You can hear he's a boofy boy. I tried to go for the second flashy trip or throwing knife, but the guy was tucked into the corner, so I just primary him down.
My dog.
Tebow, hey, Tebow, stop! What are you yelling at? Chill. He's looking at me like, Dad.
Just gotta shout, man.
It's a big deal, Dad. But now here we go. This situation, I know that I get some really good pulse primary shots on the first guy. He breaks for cover on the right side, and I know he's trapped in there. There's nowhere for him to go. He's kind of stuck in that corner. So I use the trip mine on the wall behind him. And that makes it so that I know if he takes any moves whatsoever, the trip mine's going to go off, he's going to die. Unless he stays there until he gets full health. So he's off the table for now. And luckily enough, he does move just enough to set off the trip mine, and he goes down. And now I have an opportunity. I've got a head glitch on the steps here. I return primary fire on the first guy, get the pick without taking any damage, and then I'm just very comfortable at that range to slide into an engagement 1v1 with the last guy with my Traveler's Chosen and clean him up. Easy peasy. Okay, this is one of my favorite moments from Trials this week. It's not crazy, it's not flashy, it's just perfect timing. Now, on Burnout, the pacing of this map works in such a way that the team that spawns outside can get all the way through the east entrance and in the door about the same time we hit mid-map. And we've learned that just by playing round after round after round, match after match for, years now. But as soon as I get to mid-map, I see they have not fully come in yet. So what actually ends up happening is they stopped at the entrance to put down a rift and get those arc souls ready to go. And I think what they were hoping to do is catch us at the top of the east steps, but we didn't go that route. Now, since they did not come all the way in, I have an opportunity here to get a trip mine out before they come through the doorway. And so I know that the radius of these trip mines with the Omkar spine are much wider. So I throw it right in the doorway. It actually ends up tagging all 3 of them. You can see 3 damage numbers clear as day right there. 162, 175, and 129. So all of them are almost dead. So I'm going to slide immediately into this and try and clean them all up. Sure enough, they're in a choke point. They're in a bottleneck. It's going to be hard to miss them here. And we clean all of them up. Man, these trip mines are just so fun to play with. All right, last round here. The Jotun stepped a little bit too far forward. He got the kill on my teammate, but he exposed himself on his flank to me. Now, here we go. I put the trip mine on the top bridge, so if anybody jumps up here, they're going to get tagged by it. I primary down the revive while he can't move. The guy that revived him jumps up to challenge me to try and stop me from killing his teammate, and he jumps right into the trip mine. And then I go for the nice little, the old TV reach around with the jump throwing knife on the res, get the nice headshot. A little bit flashy. Good one to go out on. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. And hopefully it was both entertaining and educational as we break down the best moments of Trials this past weekend. And hopefully that helps you learn a little bit about how you're going to take your engagements as well. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.